Hi, I'm Michael. I'm a landscape architect and I'm an environmentalist, and I'm here with my junior gardener, another Michael, and we're going to look for some of the best South Florida plants for your garden. Ready to dig in? Let's grow! With just my luck, we picked another super windy day, so I'm going to do a combination of voiceover talks with commentary from the original video. Sorry about the audio. It just seems to be so windy every time we go and do these nursery tours. Today's video is going to focus on some of my favorite native and non-native shrubs, ground covers, and vines that I've used over the years that have held up very well over time. These plants will do well in Florida plant hardiness zones 9B, 10A, 10B, and 11A. That's basically the coastal areas from Tampa, Bradenton on the west coast, all the way down to the southern tip of Florida and up into West Palm, just touching around St. Lucie County. Okay, let's kick it off with the start of my favorite flowering plants. Quick little note here, I'm going to create a list at the very end of the video of each plant in each of these categories. So just take a look there and you can get a full composite of all the plants we talk about today. And as for flowering plants in South Florida, there really is one that is just outstanding, and it's the bougainvillea. There's well over 90 colorful varieties. Here are a few of my faves. This white beauty here is the Miss Alice. It's a thornless bougainvillea and it's a shrub type. This one is the Barbara Karst. She can grow to enormous sizes. I've seen her grow up the size of very large trees, almost 3 stories tall. She has these beautiful fuchsia red flowers, very prolific flower, but she also has these big ass thorns. Here's the California Gold variety, beautiful yellow flowers. Here's another robust grower. It's the James Walker. Gets these really big clusters of pink flowers. This beauty here is called the Surprise Bougainvillea because the colors will come out between these soft lilac and white, and you get surprised each time it flowers. It doesn't necessarily flower consistently one color or the other. We actually planted this one in our Miami Shores home and we loved it. We had it trailing up and over our garage, and we married it with a purple queen's wreath on the other side. Beautiful flowers. Flowers mostly through the spring and summer. Oh, amazing flowers. And look at this one. This one is the Sundown Orange. Beautiful. And this beautiful one here is called the Raspberry Ice. It has these amazing variegated leaves, plus this bright fuchsia flower similar to the Barbara Karst. This is a shrub type, so it's a good foundation plant. Here is a red powder puff. It also comes in a pink version. Pink version gets a little bit taller. It forms a small tree or a very bushy shrub. Great plant. And it flowers many times throughout the year. Here we have a jatropha plant. It can grow into a small tree if you limb up the base. It's a beautiful drought-tolerant plant. Flowers year-round in South Florida. And over here is a Panama rose shrub. Gets beautiful pink flowers that kind of look like pentas. And a bonus feature of both the Panama rose and the jatropha is that they are butterfly attractors. And now let's talk about the ixora, Florida favorite for so many years. There was only pretty much one variety back in the 50s and 60s that everyone had in their yards, and it was the Ixora coccinea. Just had a nice red flower, real dense, tight-packed leaves. But then the horticulture industry started coming up with all these wonderful varieties. And Ixora remains popular to this day. There's the yellow Maui here, and also there's a red Maui Ixora. Profuse flowers that get this loose, bushy feel to them, but they can also be trimmed as a hedge. But for a sustainable garden, it's best just to let them kind of do their thing and grow naturally like this. But you can loosely prune down about 6 inches every now and then to encourage new flowers. Antenna's great plant for your South Florida garden. It attracts butterflies. But you need to make sure you get the native lantana the Lantana depressa or the involucrata or the hammock lantana. Unfortunately, the other varieties of lantana, as sturdy and robust of a grower they are invasive in Florida. Up north with the winter, they're not a problem. Mexican heather, kind of tough plant actually for your South Florida garden. Not a Florida native, but obviously attracts wildlife. You can see a little bee here, a little bee friend. But perpetual flowers, and this will reseed. This is a good plant for your garden. Here, South Florida.
Fun fact.
This one I don't recommend so much. People love it though. This is perennial peanut. It'll do real well, almost like a carpet, but it'll yellow up and get erotic after a while. But it's a tough plant.
Fun fact time.
And what are these guys? We saw them. Well, these are butterfly attractors. What are these plants called? Begins with a P. Pentis. Pentis, right?
These are pentises.
Yeah. We got some on our cart already. This is lavender. We have a red. I have white. There's some white over there.
Oh,
Really
no,
tough. More, right?
More.
Super tough.
Some are not really tough, so they fall.
Got a little pink mixed in there. Beautiful. As well.
Times.
Oh, actually, you know what this is, right?
Yeah.
What's the blue? Blue
The
Days.
blue
It's called Blue Days.
Blue days.
It's a
And it's
low-growing
also
plant.
Blue mine.
Yeah?
Blue my mine.
Yeah?
Full sun.
Uh-huh. Gets this pretty blue color.
Also, fun fact.
What's the fun
Stuck
fact?
on your plants.
Yeah?
They die very fast. Come on, this is a Michael Moment's time.
So believe it or not, hibiscus can be a pretty tough plant. Can you show them the hibiscus plant there, Michael? Can you pick that one up?
This one?
Yeah, isn't it beautiful? Let's show them the flower color.
Very beautiful. But also very heavy.
Heavy, right?
Oh, look.
Hibiscus can be pretty tough. As can the Cassandra. Real tough plant, can do well in it. This actually can do well in a container as well. Firecracker. This looks really good for a while. Look at that color. It's super lacy and bright firecracker red, right, Michael? Yes. But it can get these brown stalks after flowering in a while, and it looks a little ratty. You need to trim them, but they're pretty tough and drought tolerant plants. Here's Queen's Wreath. Isn't that beautiful? It's called sandpaper vine or Queen's Wreath, right, Michael? Isn't that beautiful? Forms these beautiful wisteria-like lavender flowers that just cascade down off the stems there. Beautiful. It's a vine that will grow up the side of your house if you like.
Honeybee.
Yeah, honeybees are everywhere here. It's a white one back there. We got a real nice white one yesterday. Over here we have a plant that we wouldn't recommend, but normally, yeah, this one's got some pest or it dried out. But this is actually a tough plant, other than something happened to it right now. Someone didn't water it or got a pest. But the Confederate jasmine here is a pretty tough plant. Yeah, sandpaper vine, good plant to recommend for your garden in South Florida. If you have the room for it to climb up the side of your home or arch over your garage. Here's a white version of the sandpaper. They call it that because the leaves, don't the leaves feel scratchy?
Yeah.
Michael? Yeah. Or the Queen's Wreath. Beautiful. This is the white flowering version. Here's another tough plant, the Confederate jasmine vine. And I showed you earlier the Asiaticum. And that plant is tough as a ground cover, but it'll climb up over some other plants. But this has a beautiful scented flower in the spring. White flowers smell amazing. We love using Confederate jasmine, both the Confederate and also the Asiaticum. This variety is an Asiaticum variety called Somerset. It's a tricolor, beautiful. It stays real low, but it can climb up and grow over other stuff. But it's nice to have
a ground cover like this that is different. It has a, you know, this triple color, really cool. Most of them are just dark green, the Confederate and the Asiaticum, but Somerset here, this tricolor is beautiful.
Guys.
Oh, thank you, Michael. If you tip that up, please.
Come on. I want you guys to help me.
Ready?
Set,
Go.
go.
Okay. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, subscribers, for helping me.
You got it. Thank you, everybody, as Michael says. Here we have a row of passion flower vines. Pretty tough vine. Great butterfly attractant for your South Florida garden. Cool flowers.
On native shrubs, there are some of the go-to plants. There's myrcene here, which get these very colorful berries.
Oh, poor guys. Let's help them out.
There's also Spanish stopper, Simpson stopper, white stoppers. Those are all great native shrubs, and they are very drought tolerant and relatively pest free.
Native plants here. This is a kunti. Michael, you want to feel what an ancient plant feels like?
Sure.
This is the kunti. Samia floridana. It's a native to Florida, super drought tolerant. It is the host plant for the Atala butterfly, and it is really cool plant. It doesn't grow very fast. It'll put out a burst of leaves will come out in the spring, and then it'll just sort of sit there and do its thing. But the Atala butterfly loves that plant.
It was made, I think I know a little bit about this. People planted this years ago.
Yeah, this is a very old plant. Prehistoric times it was still growing. Here's some new growth. You can actually see how it comes out. See how it's real nice and soft. Then it gets more sturdy. You know, it gets a little more. Yeah, right. So see how soft this is. It's a little soft with new growth. But this is a really good plant for South Florida. It grows to about 3 feet tall. Don't need to trim it, so it's low maintenance, and it's a Florida native. The only thing you need to watch out for is if it's getting any lax scale or any scale. These guys are very healthy, but really good plant for your garden.
Here's another great plant for your South Florida garden.
Red tip cocoa plum. The new growth will come out with these little red tips. And it'll also have these berries that wildlife loves to eat when they come out. They'll come out and they'll look almost like grapes. It's a Florida native, super drought tolerant. Can get quite tall, can get to about 7-8 feet, but there's also a horizontal version of this plant which grows much lower. Another Florida native, but really tough. Great for your South Florida garden.
I know that plant.
Yeah? Oh, the one that tipped, you can help me?
Yeah.
Help me? Okay, so help. Tip it up for him. Show him you're a nursery helper. Thank you, Junior Gardener. Here's the red tip I was just mentioning with in a bigger pot, a 7-gallon pot.
Oh no, here's
You can see the new growth. Some of the flowers and berries, isn't it beautiful?
Look at
So it
this
forms a
mess.
really big bushy hedge if you want. Good screening plant. Oh, another Florida native, but I don't recommend it as a hedge. This is the sea grape. Really cool leaves though, right?
Yeah.
Look at these.
We would not
Look at these. They're amazing. This grows into an enormous, not enormous, but a very large tree.
We would not recommend these for your
But
butterfly
people
garden.
can trim these as a hedge, but it's more maintenance to do that. But it's almost like this is waxy, this new growth. It's so pretty. They do a leaf chop in the spring, and these will turn color, like fall color actually in the spring and drop. So it gets a little messy, but this is beautiful. What a beautiful, look at that new leaf color. But it's called sea grape, coastal plant. Super tough, but
we don't recommend this for your butterfly garden.
No, it's definitely not a butterfly plant, but it is a Florida native, and it's a tough plant for your garden. If you want to grow it as a hedge, you have to trim it, so it makes it a little more maintenance
And you can use it for decoration.
for you, but right. But you can also,
but it's not recommended.
right, just set it in there and let it become a tree. Another plant we can talk about seems to be very popular right now. This is a Florida native.
Florida native.
Silver buttonwood. This is fuzzy leaves. Feel it? Doesn't it feel fuzzy?
Yeah, don't they feel fuzzy?
Yeah, it feels fuzzy. That helps it keep water from desiccating off the leaves.
Really recommend this
Super
for-
tough Florida plant, seaside or pretty much anywhere.
You don't
Make it
recommend
a-
this for your
we can make
butterfly
it,
garden.
not for a butterfly garden, but it's great for a garden in
Decoration.
general, for someone who just wants to have a
Them laying
nice
around everywhere.
shrub massing, or they want to do a screening hedge or a small tree. Silver buttonwood's a great choice.
You can use
Another great choice of a Florida native is the green buttonwood. You can keep it as a hedge, or it will form a medium-sized tree if you let it grow. Both the green and silver buttonwood are also highly salt tolerant, which makes them great coastal plants.
We're going to go and talk about, what's this one? This one's pitch apple, right?
apple.
Clusia.
They are very
Gets-
delicate.
It gets really large. There's another version, a dwarf version, that you can use to
Cuz kind of bite it a lot.
that you can use to also got to get rid of these weeds.
Yeah, the
That's
weeds
very
are
important. You
very
don't want
bad.
to take any of these home because then it becomes a problem for you later. But this can form a tree, or you can keep it as a very large hedge. But there's a smaller version, mini version, that you can use in your garden as well, and it doesn't need as much trimming. Here we have some Fakahatchee grass, Florida native. This is a good grass to have. Gets these
grass,
flower
baby.
stalks here.
Kind of sticky.
Nice plant, Florida native,
Feels
like I said.
very weird.
Yeah, it's a little rough sandpaper feel.
Look at that.
Yeah, it's the flower. Grows to about 4 feet tall, just under. It's Spartina, Florida native grass. It's good if you want to have a nice flowy hedge or something.
Slowly decoration.
Yeah, nice plant for your South Florida garden. Tough, Florida native, can handle drought really well. Actually likes a little bit wet, but it can also go in areas that can dry out. It's a really tough plant.
And now let's dig into tough plants with colorful leaves.
These are coleus.
They're very good.
They
for a garden.
vary and they're known for their leaves, their striking leaf color. We actually have the big red here in our home as a house plant, but they've cultivated so many different varieties. So this one's known for just shockingly bright colored leaves and not so much their flowers. But those are pretty tough plants for your South Florida garden.
Yeah, they're
Right,
very
Michael?
good plants, actually.
Yeah, you like them? Look at this. This is a coleus.
Do you even care about this plant?
This is a coleus. Beautiful, right? That's a coleus. Just so many different variations of the plant. Beautiful.
You knocked the plant.
Oh, it's so windy. Thank you for putting the plant back up. Can't see well on film.
Actually, no.
There's another coleus. Right? Beautiful.
Can I have some?
Tough. Pretty tough plant for your garden. Believe it or not, another coleus. Isn't that super cool? Here's Song of India. Super tough plant. Highly recommended for your South Florida garden. You can actually cut this and put it in the soil and it'll root. Not that fast growing, but beautiful variegation, right? It'll contrast dark green plants, you know. You Use them in sun or shade. Great plant. And copperleaves here. I mean, there's just so many of them that are great for your South Florida garden. They can do well in sun or partial shade. I mean, just amazing amount of variegation in the variety in the leaves. We have the iris petticoat here, the Tahiti, Moria. We have the Java white. Over here is the Inferno. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful. Next to it over here, look at this guy. Chicago's brick. Copperleaf. Beautiful. And over there, over here, woo, this guy. This is the Tahitian Halo Copperleaf. Isn't it beautiful? Now we're just like in land of crotons. Super drought tolerant. We did a video on replanting the magnificent variety, but there's just so many you can see here.
The Petra, the Meme, and others.
Here's one of my favorites too. There we go. There we go, right there. But they just have made so many different versions over the years. Beautiful, right? Just beautiful. Not native to Florida, but drought tolerant. They can get spider mites. That's the thing if you try to grow some of these indoor or on a balcony. It's one thing you just need to kind of check. So here are some very tough South Florida plants for your garden. We have the gold capella here, Schefflera, dwarf Schefflera. And then we got the Louisiana, dwarf Schefflera. Solid green, smaller leaves, and then the infamous Trinette with this really creamy yellow-green variegation. Super tough plant. Handles shearing very well, very low maintenance. It's a really tough plant. And then we also have the green island ficus,
which when introduced basically became the go-to shrub in South Florida, supplanting the Carissa shrub we used to use.
So hot, but those are super tough. None of these are Florida natives, but they all are very tough. Good plants to use for a hedge. You can almost use the Trinette as a medium-sized or lower ground cover. So this is the Carissa I was telling you about that the green island ficus supplanted years ago. But you feel the little prickly things on them on your fingers, a little sharp, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here, close up to the camera. Look, you can see a little spike.
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
Planted these years ago. They got a big berry, but
it has a pretty compact growth form.
it's a great tough plant. Coastal, does real well. Can be actually almost made into a bonsai if you want sometimes. Really cool plant. Here we have a larger Trinette that we talked about earlier, right?
Yeah, very big.
And the mass tree, not native, but real tough. Forms a great hedge if you have like a several 3-story home next to you or something like that. You want to screen, you have a narrow side yard. This is a good plant. It's a tree, but it literally doesn't get much wider than this. Here's a non-native. It's called Podocarpus. Michael, let me show you how tall it is compared to you. It's pretty tall, right? Is it taller than you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's taller than me. They're not to be the tallest plants for humans.
No, not actually. You're making a lot of stuff up, but that's cool.
Only for kids.
For kids. So Podocarpus makes a great hedge. It actually can become a tree. Very slow growing, but it can form a very narrow hedge if you want. And its new growth will have this bright green colors on it.
Hey, look.
Oh, look.
Another plant.
You're one of them. What are you doing in there? Oh, one of the plants got out. One of the Podocarpus got out. Get back in there.
Here you can see some of that bright green new growth on the Podocarpus.
Another windy day, so the sound is going to be a mess. And we got a plane overhead, making it even more difficult. Sorry, everybody. Over here we have some bamboo, Buddha belly. Really cool with the little belly bump stems that come up, right? Bamboo is actually a grass. You like that bamboo sound, Mike, and the wind? Doesn't it sound nice? And over there, Asian lemon bamboo. So it forms a great hedge. Good for South Florida. Probably even can go up to Central Florida easily. Really cool. But one thing about bamboo is that they drop a lot of leaves. Buddha belly doesn't grow as tall as the Asian lemon, and there's so many different types of varieties. There's actually a black bamboo, which is super cool, tough. Orange bird of paradise is a pretty tough plant. Gets a beautiful orange flower. Doesn't grow fast. Good for South Florida. It's not a native, but it's a really cool plant. This one does real well. Full sun, partial shade. Gets to about 3.5 feet tall. Really. And this is a tough plant too. Not a native, but actually it's great ground cover. This is Pilea. Isn't it nice?
Yeah. And also,
Super
fun fact.
Yeah?
If you see one of these on the ground,
Yeah, we're supposed to do the right thing. Exactly.
lift it up.
Exactly.
But if you want it, just lift it up and take it to your cart. But
Yeah.
if there's actually a weed on there, take it out.
You want to do that. You want to be responsible. And the age-old Liriope. This is a little dwarf version.
And look, a Michael tree.
It's the Isabella.
And look what we have here, a Michael tree.
And we have another shrub growing there. Another weed we got to pull out of the rocks there. Regular Liriope. It's the evergreen giant, the larger version. It's a go-to plant many years ago. See, this one's not one I would recommend buying. See the yellow? Got some chlorotics up. Got some weeds. I want to make sure they don't have any of that. Probably wouldn't want to buy it in a 3-gallon. Probably want to buy evergreen giant in a 1-gallon because they grow pretty fast. And also playing with the broadleaf alocasia, the California alocasia, which is it's growing in full sun here, but it's probably what happens when it goes in full sun. I like to plant them more in shade because they get this little burned out look. It does better in shade than in full sun. Here's a good plant for South Florida gardens. It's the variegated peperomia. Used as a ground cover in the shade. Pretty tough, not real pests. They also have just the plain green version available. Peperomia obtusifolia, but this is the variegated. Variegata. Tough plant, good choice. Okay, now I'm going to show you a summary list of each plant in each of those 4 categories. If you have any questions about the plants, just leave it in the comment box below the video and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. I have many more plants that I use in my designs for South Florida, so stay tuned for future videos where I'll discuss some other good plants you can use for your sustainable garden. I'll also be doing future videos on small trees as well as palms and large trees. So hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. Thanks for joining us. Until next time. Bye.
If you found value in this video, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. We post weekly. Thanks.
Yeah?
Thank you.
Look. See, even the moth likes it. Oh no, butterfly. Butterflies have the antenna like that. This looks like a big eye. Look at that. See his nose all curled up? You see that? Oh, is he your friend? See if it'll go on your finger. Aw. Oh look! Ladybug! Hello, ladybug! Hello, ladybug!
It's an orange ladybug.
Yeah. Ladybugs are great. They eat aphids and other. Whoop, just flew away.
Yeah,
It's gonna go eat some more bad bugs.